Hey guys, Dale Walker back, Holeshot Performance. How you doing today? It's Sunday. I don't even know what day it is. June 12th, 13th, 14th? I don't know. Sunday. Anyway, I just thought I'd park these two Yamahas kind of next to each other. Basically, what I've done so far is just taken them around here on a little loop. Nothing serious yet, though I've romped on it, straight line stuff. There's a few little twisty turns down here, but nothing like up on the mountain passes in Tijuana. Anyway, I took Rusty out today for a 94-mile loop. I just got back. It's about 90 degrees outside, but little breeze. Went down by Walker Lake and through the neighborhoods there and came back. And I was just going to give you the impression I think of both bikes at this point. I'm hoping next Tuesday to get Rip Jr. out up on the test loop up there in the mountains south of the border. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. But let me grab the camera and kind of walk around the bike and give you my impressions of both bikes for what I've done so far. Anyway, here they are. So we've got the 2020 900 Tracer GT, brand new out of the crate. And then we've got the 2021 MT-09. Lurking in the background is Mr. Green. He's very jealous. Anyway, you know, this bike, the MT-09 is what, 890 cc's now. They stroked it. And this one's the 847 cc's or 848, I believe. Triple. I guess there's other changes in the engine, so on, here and there. But anyway, I personally, I can't tell much power difference, really. I'm sure the other one, I know it has a little bit more grunt. And obviously the MT-09, the new one, is, you know, quite a bit lighter than the Tracer. So the MT-09, I think, comes in at 417 wet. This bike, it varies who you read and where you read. But I think without the bags and a full tank of gas, it's still around the 460 range, which is pretty damn good. I just did a quick measurement on the wheelbase, and the MT-09, the new one, is about 57 inches from the factory with, you know, how it is right now sitting. And this bike is right at about 60 inches. Now they changed the rake and trail in this chassis quite a bit more aggressive, and they you know, dropped the front end down, doing up in the frame neck. And you know, this is going to be much nimbler and quicker handling, of course. But I can tell you that this bike right here is frickin' bitchin'. I just did a 94-mile loop. I did about a 70 or 80-mile loop on the MT-09. And obviously the MT-09 is a little scrapper made for a tight, twisty road. But let me tell you, the Tracer is going to be no slouch. I would not doubt, at street pace, at a good clip, like I ride somewhere out in Mexico, I would almost wager a bet I can go just as quick on that Tracer, or darn close. Now, I can tell you that both bikes, the brakes look identical. I have the rotors off the Tracer stock ones. I've got the Galfer rotors now. And these rotors look identical, and I think they're the identical part number. The MT-09 has the much better master cylinder, okay, compared to the old style. This is similar to what's on the MT-10. But both bikes' brakes, you know, the magazine's got us kind of soft pedal it as far as what they say about motorcycles, right? They want to get more motorcycles to test, right? I don't have to do anything. I buy these bikes with my own money. I can say what I think, period. And to be honest with you, I'm kind of disappointed on the brakes. They're kind of wooden. I mean, they're still going to stop good enough for the street. but you got to pull pretty hard, even on this lightweight MT-09. I'm going to go ride it next week, I hope. And I'm sure it'll still stop adequate and good enough. But that tracer is what, 50 pounds heavy or whatever? And it, with those rotors, you know, forget the back. I put the back on too. It's cosmetic, and it also stops better. But these front wave rotors from Galfer, the full floating rotors, and then their centered pads with the brake lines, compared to this bike right here, even though it's lighter, no comparison. This thing is a 2-finger stopper. I just went and tested it. Can't mount the camera yet. It's going to be a real bitch. I'm going to have to make them out. So I'm going to work on that. Electric shifter. This one only blips the engine on the way up, to where the MT-09 goes up and down. I could kind of care less about the down really too. I mean, it's neat and all that, but I don't know, the up's the main thing, right? This little guy here, if you just roll on in first gear, I turned all the nannies off. The tracer, you can't really turn them off completely. I run it in the most aggressive mode, which is mode A, and traction control on 1. Over here, what I do is I put it on mode 1, and then I do that and turn the traction control completely off, which gets rid of the wheelie control, slide control minimum, and it gives you full power. Okay. But like I was saying about this one here, they both shift like butter. Especially you get up around 5 grand and above, and it just blips so smooth and nice. But I kind of like downshifting manually into a corner and using your fingers and all that stuff, you know. Upshift's a little different because you're going to roll off the throttle and upset the chassis, right? So, I mean, it's neat. And trust me, I'm not banging on this bike. It's a freaking awesome machine. It's going to be quick. But if I had to pick one bike, I'm telling you, I'd pick this one over here. I like V-Stroms, I like those kind of bikes, but this bike, I think, is going to be one of my favorite motorcycles of all time once I get more miles and run it through the paces on around the corners too. I do like this dash much better in the MT-09. They're both the colored TFT dash. But I just like how it functions. It's a little bigger, and the RPM comes up real nice. The tach doesn't do anything funny, and then you can set your blue shift light right over here to blink wherever you want. It's just simpler, cleaner, easier to use, and go through the modes too. This is kind of cool too, where the MT-09 just shows your number blinking, you know, first, second, third, which is cool. And this thing, even though it's small, you can still see it clearly, but the letters, everything are tiny. And then you get up here and these little lines just flutter on you for your shift point, which is funky. And it hits the rev limiter real quickly on the RPM. This one, I twisted it clear up to 11 or so before it would hit the rev limiter. I think I set the, right at about 10 grand, 10.2 or so, I set the light to come on. It's just perfect. You're not going to run it that hard. That's all on a straightaway when you're going to get on it and play. But I went 94 miles right there. And yeah, can you see that fuel mileage reading? There's your average fuel mileage, pretty good. Which that's probably not accurate, but that's still a darn good number. What's neat about this, when you shift, it rolls like a roller. The number kind of tink, tink, goes around in a circle. It's really cool. So I'm digging the tracer. I'm going to dig this bike too, I know it. Both are a little buzzy, around 70 miles an hour. The tracer, the grips are really hard, but it's not buzzy enough where it starts hurting your wrists or anything. The mirrors on both bikes offer good vision. This bike, I'm not a real big guy, but a lot of bikes still, my shoulders block it. I can see everything. Yeah, what's neat too, if you're loading into a trailer, the Yamaha mirrors go like this. They're under a load. You don't have to loosen the mirror, and you can just grab the mirror like that. I tried the screen up and down. It's a little noisy, but my helmet's not that kind of noisy anyway, to be honest with you, and I have all the vents open today because it's so damn hot. But I think what I'm going to try, the shorter the screen, as you put it down, it gets noisier. And I have the screen about 3/4 way up right now. I think I'm going to try a little adjustable wing on there, just to get the buffeting. It's not bad though. It's not really bad. I've had a lot worse. So let me see what else I can tell you about this thing. So one thing I wanted to also mention that I haven't mentioned yet is the cruise control. So it works just like on a car. I have the ignition on. It obviously you can't turn it on now, but and see, you get your little on button, and then set, resume, speed up, slow down. The second you touch the throttle, it will turn off, or if you tap the brake, front or rear. But if you got like wrist problems, whatever, this cruise control works really slick. The MT-10 was nice too, very similar. Yeah, you can adjust it, just tap it a little at a time, up or down, but really worth the money. And that's why I hunted for a 2020, because the new one, you know, the 21, they jacked the price up, what, another $1,800 or something. It's getting near $15,000. Probably still worth it, you know, compared to it's compared to a Versi or whatever that are even more than that now. These are a lot lighter, more nimble, handle better. But the 2020 compared to 2021, I can't see it being that much better. I actually like the dash on this one, from what I see, better than the 21. But yeah, and also what's really neat is this thing is so stable. Like I went back, don't do this at home, but I was on some little back roads just cruising along at 40 or 38 to 43 miles an hour with the cruise on. You can take your hands off the bars and rest them on your lap. The thing can hit bumps and it doesn't go into head shake. It's just stable as can be. It's really good. So, boy, that cruise really makes a difference. You can take your hand off, rest, you know, blah, blah, blah. Worth it. As far as acceleration, I was getting back. I forgot to finish my thought on the MT-09. Yeah, with all the nannies off, you roll this thing on in first gear, and, you know, it's going to power wheelie through second. Probably if you're on a mountain road going uphill a little bit and hit a bump in third, it's gonna come off the ground. This bike doesn't do that. It still accelerates hard. The front end gets light, but it's heavier and it's longer, so of course it's going to stay planted on the ground more, but it still accelerates hard. I'm going to turn the keys off now. Got all my junk around here. This is running out of room. Still got the bugs on it, see? So there's the frontal area. And here's the little guy with the Cyclops headlight. Yeah, so that's kind of my impression so far. I can tell you also that the Tracer suspension feels plush. I haven't touched it. I just checked it, made sure it was all in the stock settings. I did ride the bike with the seat on the low setting, and I don't really need that. I can still touch fine with it on the higher setting right now. The low setting, you have a gap about this much, but it's mounted in the same spot, so what's that's going to do when you put it in low setting, right? Tip the front downhill so you're shoved into your crotch into the tank. This is still a little bit downhill, but it's got some pretty decent cushioning still. I didn't mind it at all, and the foot peg height is real nice, kind of like a V-Strom. You know, if you're a taller guy, you're not going to be all jammed up. I really like the bars, even stock. I just adjusted them. I'm one of those guys, I'm getting old, man. My shoulders start hurting. I went 94 miles. I went halfway, pulled over, took some pictures, got on the bike, rode back home. Shoulders don't hurt at all. So that's a good sign, because boy, let me tell you, I know right away. And this bike felt pretty good too, but man, you're getting full wind blast, right? So anyway, I thought that'd be kind of cool just to show you that, talk about the two bikes a little bit. Nothing scientific, just my personal opinion so far. So yeah, so right now I'm going to get a Rip Jr. 2109 up there, go for a ride next. So stay tuned, and I appreciate you watching the videos. And yeah, the health issue thing, I went and got a Lupron shot. They want me to do a PET scan next to see where my cancer cells are starting to spread inside my body. So anyway, I went and rode the bike today. That made me feel a lot better, and let's just keep it going. All right, guys, take care. Appreciate you watching the videos. Have a good day.